Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie Aina, but I'm not alone. Obviously, I have a special guest. You may or may not know her. Chelsea Lazkani from Selling Sunset. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. We're gonna be spilling tea, talking about life, sprinkling a little bit of wisdom. A lot of times people see us and they're like, wow, they don't see the build up.
The pulled back, right.
Exactly.
The pulled back and the real. And
yeah.
Sometimes it's glitz and glamour, and sometimes it's just about empowering other people to show them like we're also real behind these lenses too.
Exactly. So with that being said, we're gonna be doing makeup and spilling tea. Let's jump right in. Oof.
That was nice.
Ooh. I just had a chemical peel, so my skin's a little
dry.
You did? But I go to my esthetician. Her name's Guidance to Glow. Everybody who watches my channel long enough knows that Miss Finya, Guidance to Glow, is a friend to the channel.
Would you believe I've never had a chemical peel before?
I would believe that. Shout out to Deepak about this. This is my friend's brand, Lip Tinted.
Well, thank you. These look fabulous as well. They feel really good.
Aren't they cute?
Yeah, they feel so good.
So what's the look of the day?
I think I'm going to do a very sexy, sultry, bold look because I'm feeling a little bit devilish.
Do you want to tell them why?
It's my time of the month, and when I come my period, I become a crab, and I'm gonna channel my inner witch, given it's my time of the month. Not too devilish, because obviously we're children of God out here.
People in the comments, please let me know.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like when you're on your period, you should get time off from work.
So I start with my eyes. What do you start with? Color correcting?
I start with light complexion, but really I do my eyes first.
What inspired you to do eyes first?
Because I've been doing makeup for so long, my makeup journey is very non-linear. So some days I like doing just complexion first. And I think it's also like an artistic thing because I think like a creative, because I think like an artist, like there's never gonna be one way for me to do something.
That's important as a creative, especially when I'm getting my makeup done. In order for you to see different looks, you can't follow the same thing every single time. In order for you to let a creative be a creative, they have to try, because you trust their art, right? Smacks, and that's kind of like how the evolution of makeup has taken place.
Depending on where you're from, people who live in like towns where there's not a lot of education on like working with dark skin, the girls try to do the same copy and paste looks on everyone, and it's like, girl,
I hate that.
We not Caucasian.
No,
like, I got pigment. My skin is not one color. You need to adjust accordingly. You cannot just copy and paste the same look. It's not gonna work.
Yep. So I never wanted to be in a situation whereby I had to teach non-black people about my experiences as a black woman, especially in life, but even more so in beauty, because I just feel like there's so much information out there. But I find myself having to, when I'm on set and let's say there's a hired makeup artist, somebody that I haven't sought out myself, they'll bring like a blush and I'm like, ugh. Before you touch my face, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's not gonna work. So I always bring my big makeup case to set. Every single time you'll see me lugging around this big makeup case, because I know if they've hired someone for makeup, the excuse that they don't have my right blusher is not going to cut it for me, because there's no way everyone else is going to look good and I'm going to look crusty.
Like a major
what, baby girl?
There's been an emergency. Someone was injured in transit.
Look, my favorite palette. I love this palette. I love the brown tones. I have an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that I love as well. But
did you ever get my palette? I should. Oh, let me dig in my archives and see if I can find one.
Who was yours with? Wait,
Anastasia.
Stop.
This was like 2018 though.
Okay.
Wait, 2019.
I want to see. I want to see that. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my sweet time with this because Jackie takes her time doing makeup.
I sure do, honey.
Ooh, I love this. This is very, very colorful.
I know.
I love how deep the pigments are here.
Yes.
Take a look, guys.
She's pretty much vintage.
So this is mine to keep.
You can have it if you want. It's like,
I once had a boyfriend when we broke up. He's like, everything I got you, I want it back. I was like,
so Chelsea,
yes, darling.
you originally got your BA in economics and your master's in oil and gas economics. Was that a passion for you originally, and what caused the pivot to move into real estate?
Okay, yeah. So I got my undergraduate in economics because I really love sciences. So I initially wanted to get my undergraduate in biochemistry or like chemical engineering. I know it sounds crazy, but I love the sciences, and my dad was like, chemical engineering is such a lucrative field. So that was my initial field that I wanted to go into. And then after getting, I think it was my GCSE result.
Oh, like an SAT.
Like an SAT,
Okay.
yes. I was like, okay, my business was higher than my chemistry and biology, and I was like, I could go in to my first degree doing chemical engineering or biochemical engineering, but I might struggle with it. So I was like, let me go into something that is more suited to where my strengths are, because I didn't want to struggle, and that's why I got my undergraduate in economics. And it's such a diverse degree to get. You can kind of pivot into anything, and it teaches you loads of life skills as well. So I really liked it. And then I got my master's in oil and gas. Long story. That's a very lucrative industry in Nigeria, and I always had somewhat a plan of moving back to Nigeria. For some reason, I've always had this love. Well, I say moving back, although I never lived there, but moving back as in my parents always said they were going to move back. So I was like, I could see a portion of my life being there. Oil and gas is obviously a very prominent field in Nigeria, and I always loved laws and legislation. I just thought I could be a path changer or a role maker in that field, especially bringing like Western education.
I like that you put a lot of thoughtfulness into that, and it wasn't just something that your parents wanted you to do. It was like, okay, like this is where I could add value. It's something you were genuinely interested in.
Yeah.
You were like interested in, right?
Yeah. I was genuinely interested in it. It's like a genuinely a very interesting course.
Yeah.
I just didn't think through the whole moving back to Nigeria part, because how is that going to happen?
First of all, I admire anyone who is willing to leave where they're rooted, okay, wherever that is, and go live in a completely different country. Even if you are Nigerian, living in Nigeria for Nigerians can still be somewhat foreign.
Yeah.
And I just find it so admirable. I know there's like a whole wave of people now that are like reconnecting and are trying to move back, even if they've never lived there at any point.
Yeah.
I think it's so admirable, and yeah, bro, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of adjusting.
I completely agree. I've lived in many different places. Lived in London for basically 21 years, but within that time, I had some short stints in New Jersey and in New York and in Switzerland. So I'm very familiar with having to uproot yourself. I'm very, very familiar with change and kind of the idea of me not being a tree and knowing that I can thrive anywhere if I just change my mindset.
I think that one thing that I will say, listen up, if you're under 30, you need, if you can, to try your best to at least, if you can, live in another country or live out of state. I'm not necessarily saying everyone should do that, but you need a year of just like being on your own, finding life, no roommates, no living with a partner, like a year guaranteed, like as much as you possibly can. Because some of the experiences that I've had where I had that time to just get to know myself, travel, vibe, were so invaluable. And I think were some of the best years of my life of really doing soul searching. I actually had the opportunity to live abroad too.
Where?
Kuwait.
Oh, you lived in Kuwait?
I did. I lived in Kuwait for a year. It was incredible. But this was at a time where it was like at the height of like Islamophobia and just really negative images of like what it meant to be Muslim. So like living in a majority Muslim country at the time, I think it was just so valuable just to be able to like be in it, learn from other people, hear their actual stories, meet, and just living abroad in general is such an incredible experience. I don't know, I just felt so grown. I go home to my house, I don't know anybody in this country, but I literally had no friends, started blank slate from scratch.
Okay, so real estate. How did I get into real estate? Okay.
I want to know how you got into real estate.
So my dad is a property developer.
Wait, so like he can build homes?
Yeah, he designs and builds homes. That's what he does. That's what he's done my whole life.
I would have been ring, ring, ring.
Ah!
Ring, ring, ring. I got a property I need to build.
Oh no, gosh, Jackie, don't gas me now. My dad's the biggest stan, you know, I love my dad so much because when he found out I was doing Selling Sunset, my dad doesn't use social media. He changed his profile picture on social media to one of me and the girls. He's such a proud father. It's pretty spectacular. You know, African parents are the biggest gas men. They gas us. So my dad's a property developer and architect my whole life, so I've always been exposed to beautiful properties, architecture, like the different aesthetics, right? And I've always loved it. Never really thought I'd go into it. So I got my real estate license. Me and my husband at the time.
Not at the time. Him watching this like, At the time, her husband.
My husband was looking to sell his current house, and I wanted to research what the commissions were due to the agent and what the agent would essentially do. And I pretty much found out very quickly that selling a house doesn't require you to have like a PhD. There are the skills that are required to be a good agent, to me, are skills that I naturally possessed. So I thought it was an industry I could very much thrive in. And I knew for damn well I wasn't gonna sell my husband's house and give anybody that big chunk of commission. Period. Especially when I could go get my license. So I went to go get my real estate license.
So wait, so you were driven off of the fact that you could sell your husband's house, basically?
Well, and the fact that obviously my dad has been in real estate. So I saw it as an avenue to start something that I didn't know whether it was going to be my full-time job, but I knew it could give me the flexibility to have that on the side and make some money while having maybe my full-time job. Yeah. Girl, you're rushing way ahead of me.
Am I? No, but the thing is I have 50 more steps. So it's actually good if I'm ahead of you.
So I went to go get my real estate license. After getting your real estate license, you hang your license up at the brokerage of your choice. Some brokerages are harder to get into than others.
Is it a very who you know type of industry, do you think?
Working with brokerages, no. Working with brokerages is very much as simple as how much business have you done or how much business will you potentially do.
So there's like an actual merit system. It's not just who you know.
Which I love. Yeah. I would say if you're a newer agent, it's very important to go to a brokerage that has resources for you to get training. There are many brokerages that have training resources so newer agents can learn the ropes of deals. I started off at Rodale Realty, which is a very traditional brokerage. Exceptional. You've got agents that do a ton of business and you've got newer agents like myself at the time, and I shadowed a top producing agent, so I really just wanted to learn the ropes through her. Yeah.
Ooh, what is that? Ooh, Danessa.
This is my girl. Danessa is the absolute best, and I'm gonna try something new out today. I bought this, I've heard, flawless filter.
So good.
I'm going to put that on my face under my makeup because I kind of want my makeup to be a little bit glowy, not too glowy, but a little bit. But then I'm going to use a little bit more of a matte velvet foundation.
In an interview, you said growing up, you were told that you should be seen and not heard. How did that affect you mentally, and what was the turning point of getting out of that mindset?
I cannot believe someone said that to you.
Yeah, girl. So I feel like I heard it more than once. Nobody that I really cared about, to be fair.
Well, good. Because that's terrible.
Yeah, it was. I've always been very outspoken and opinionated, and I think I've always had a very strong value system from being very young. Yeah. So I frequently heard it being said to me or said about me that Chelsea is too loud. At the time, I kind of was like, oh my gosh, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. So I did find myself withering away from who I fundamentally was and what my natural disposition was. I found myself trying to be less of it and become more of what maybe society deemed someone like myself would thrive in being, which is maybe a little bit more quiet, a little less opinionated, a little bit more go with the flow and just kind of acquiesce to other people's standards or ideologies of myself. And I think it was just before finishing my master's that everything changed for me.
What happened?
So maybe 10 or 11. 10 or 11 is when my mum left to the United States, and I knew from that point on what I had known as a family dynamic was about to change. My parents were still very happily married, but my mum had gotten this amazing opportunity abroad, something that would help further not only her career, but help further our lifestyles and help further everything for us, you know.
Wow.
Just my mum being an immigrant, getting those type of opportunities, working for a very huge company, just wasn't really normal.
It was very rare.
It was almost like, wow, God is really blessing us despite the fact that we're not going to be together. Yeah. This is something that you must take, right? Yeah. But I always thought, what does that mean for me? I'm gonna miss my mum, you know? After that point, I started to kind of feel that life is going to be what I make out of it, because I'm not going to have my mum to see to kind of model or emulate.
Like basically you have the opportunity to like put forth your true authentic self without other people's opinions, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Get to find yourself.
Yeah.
You got to discover yourself.
Yeah, it really was a point where I was like, okay, Chelsea, you can be whatever you want to be, and I just chose to be me. What got me here was listening to my damn self.
Thank you. Amen, girl.
So you know what I'm gonna keep doing?
What?
Listen to my damn self.
Period. Hi, Helen.
Hello, ladies.
Why are you cheesing like that?
I'm laughing.
You look so dirty.
Anyway, I feel like you've done a great job to, you know, as a new person, it's always
You sure
difficult
have.
to make an impact, and I think you've done a great job representing yourself. So you should be proud of yourself, because it's not easy, especially as a black woman as well.
Thank
The show
you.
predominantly dominated
Especially
by
a
a
black
lot of
woman.
Honestly,
racists, so.
it makes such a big difference to hear that, and it's just the best compliment to hear, because coming in on the 5th season of a show that's already wildly successful, and a show that many of the people have already known each other for decades and have this rapport and have this kind of like unwavered loyalty towards one another because they've worked with each other for so long. I almost felt as though I could either sink or swim in this environment.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot to swim. It's much easier to sink. There are so many things working against me for someone that's never been on
100%.
TV, never been behind the camera, never been like an influencer.
Yeah.
And when people say thank you, it means so much to me, because I really was just myself. You know, you don't get to see everything, but the bits that you do see is like, that is me, and that's authentically me. But watching it back, I got a question for you, because you're British.
Yeah.
The first feedback I got, when I first watched it back, I was like, okay, cool. You know, we don't really pick up on things that the audience pick up on, because I'm watching myself, so I'm watching myself a little bit differently. But after it aired, oh my gosh, I got a wave of comments saying, her accent's fake.
I saw that. I saw those comments.
I didn't understand that. I'm like, she's clearly Brit. She's like, and you can tell the accent.
She's faking her accent. She's like Anna Delvey.
Oh, God.
She's like
Not Anna Delvey.
She's like Dorit from Real Housewives.
Do people really think you fake your accent?
I
Or
don't
are they
know.
joking?
Now, I don't know, because I can't read tone when I see messages. I don't know the tone behind them, but I did have a lot of press ask me about it. And I think what was more telling than anything else was growing up in London and growing up in Northwest London, people frequently said to me, oh, you sound white.
Yeah.
And that comment never sat well with me. It was always very offensive.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, you sound like the environment you grew up in. And I was fortunate enough to live in a very beautiful, opulent area because my parents worked extremely hard to make sure we had that because we wanted to be in a good school district. But never once did I think that these people around me sounded a certain race.
Yeah.
I take great offense to it because I think the sooner we start to break down these social constructs of what is seen as posh, which is kind of elitist because people like to associate posh with being well-educated, well-mannered, well this, everything that's a positive accolade, then the sooner we break down those constructs, the sooner that people that don't sound like me can get into rooms of people that are doing all these amazing, successful, high-powered things essentially, right? Yeah. Because if we say that this is what is posh and this is what is not posh, what happens when the person that doesn't sound posh, that has the years of experience, has the resume, is in the right place at the right time, but still gets told no, is thinking, what the F? Because that person doesn't sound posh or that person doesn't fit into that box. I don't like boxes for anything. So I don't like that term because personally, I think that the way you sound and the way you speak or the way you carry yourself is usually a representation of the environment you grew up in, and that's not something you can pick.
You can't pick,
Right.
A lot of people went with the assumption that I grew up privileged based upon the way I sound.
That's a problem when people do that,
And that's not true. If I sounded differently, maybe you'd say, oh, she probably had humble beginnings. Well, I did. I did, and everything I have, I've worked incredibly hard for. A lot of people just assume things based upon what you look like and the way you speak, but what people don't fail to remember is no matter where I grew up, I'm still black.
Yeah.
And the
So
black
true.
struggle is the united struggle. And you can have a ton of money, you can be extremely educated, you can have decades of experience, but there is a common struggle that will always unite us. And people love to take that away from people when they've gotten to a certain place. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, they don't have that struggle anymore.
It's interesting that you say that, because I feel like when it comes to, I feel like women experience this more than men do. Black women experience this more. It's almost like people see you as successful first and then black last, because I've started to realize the difference in how people interact with me, people that know me, and it's almost like they forget, like, yes, we're not going to say there is not some level of privilege tied to having access, having money. Yes, of course, like, let's address the elephant in the room. But at the end of the day, if I'm walking down the street and you don't know the car that I drive, you're not going to know what my tax bracket is. You're not going to know any of those things. If I'm walking down the street, no drip, no jewelry, no Birkins, nothing, you're going to see black first, period. Like, period. There is no bag or wallet I could carry or car that I can drive that can take away like my blackness first. Like, I don't care what people say. It's not just all sunshine and rainbows when you make it. Does it help? Of course it helps. Do I have a different, like, I'm sure you have a different set of problems. I don't have to worry about my basic needs being met now, of course, but still get profiled shopping at designer stores. Will absolutely still get stopped in a new car asking, whose car is this? People walk into my house, ask me, where's the homeowner?
I get that.
All the time. Like, it doesn't stop. It literally does not stop. And it's the worst.
What was the interview process like for Selling Sunset?
Ooh, I want to know.
So there isn't really an interview process. It's unfortunate for me to say that because I'm going to disappoint a lot of people that may want to interview. You don't just get chosen. We work for a brokerage, so we work for the Oppenheim Group. First and foremost, you have to get into the Oppenheim Group. And
You gotta work.
the boss of the Oppenheim Group is Mr. Jason Oppenheim, and he only wants successful agents on his team. Once I had joined the Oppenheim Group, so I was looking for a luxury brokerage to hang my license at, and I was very fortunate because I reached out to Jason and, you know, I told him about what I had done in real estate, what I'd like to do in real estate, and just, you know, kind of sold myself. And then I ended up selling a home, and I told him, look, I want to bring you business in the beach cities because it's an area that he hasn't really done any business in, and that's the area that I live, Manhattan Beach. And he thought I could bring value, so he added me to the brokerage, and with that came Selling Sunset.
So wait, did you think you were gonna be on the show when you first, like, when this first happened?
Hell no, absolutely
Like,
not.
were you even thinking about the show?
I didn't really think that I'd be at the Oppenheim Group. I had always been in real estate and known about the brokerage, and I thought it was such a fantastic, aspirational brokerage to be at. And I lived in the Valley when I first got my license, so everybody knows that the Oppenheim Group is like the luxury premier brokerage on the west side, and all the ladies, they just happen to be beautiful, but they're also very smart and very intelligent, and they kill it.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was looking for new peoples, but I always say, you know, shoot your shot, right? What have you got to lose?
True.
So I was looking to hang my brokerage, but I had the Oppenheim Group as well as other brokerages on like my list of places that I was going to look to hang it. When I got the job, I couldn't believe it, but not for a second did I really think of the show, because I always kind of thought of the show as something separate, and I had never actually watched the show at this point. So I'd heard of it, but
You just weren't thinking.
I honestly, I didn't really think the show was that big, to be fair.
Oh.
I think I only started to realize how big the show was once I was on it. And then I'd obviously kind of do some research into it, and I'm like, people actually watch this. Like, people like dead ass watch this show.
Yeah. I never miss a season, honey. You know what? Actually, what I love the most about the show, especially because the show came out first year of the pandemic, I don't know, it was just so aspirational for me. Like, seeing all these like young people buying these insane homes.
Yeah. I officially watched the whole show probably about 2 weeks before filming.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That was the first time I realized. No clue.
What?
Can I be perfectly honest?
Yeah, give me some tea.
I never thought I'd be on the show. I never thought that even once we started discussing it, they would actually pick me. And it's not because I have self-limiting beliefs, but it's because I always believed that I was gonna buckle when a camera's there. I thought like, they're gonna see me, see this big personality in person, they're gonna put a camera there, and I'm gonna be like,
you thought you were just gonna crumble.
I thought I was going to fumble, and the reason why I thought I was going to fumble is because I remember my mum had a big 50th birthday in Monaco. She wanted us all to give speeches, and I was like, cool, I got this. Giving speech in front of all these people I didn't know. Cool.
What happened?
I got up there. I had this speech on my phone. Listen, I didn't even have to say anything off the top of my head. I just had to read, and I was.
You were nervous?
I was so embarrassed. I think a lot of people, what they don't know is when we're filming Selling Sunset, we're also very privy to the fact that we're filming a show.
Right.
So we all express ourselves in the way that we feel best. Do I dress the way I dress on Selling Sunset every day? Absolutely not. But when the camera's there, I'm gonna bring a look every single time. Even if I am in a professional environment, because I'm here to create good TV. So I'm not gonna carry last, otherwise my mom's gonna cuss me out.
Is your mom like, is she into fashion? Is she into
Big
like
time. Big time.
Oh my god, I love it.
Like it's actually mad. Everything I learned about fashion is from my mom. Yeah, she absolutely loves fashion, and she's very much all about like, present yourself how you want to be treated. You know, if you want people to talk shit to you, then come look in a mess. And if you want people to respect you, come look in your best self.
But see, the thing is you can still look your best and still get treated like crap.
Absolutely.
Especially
but at least it won't be your outfit.
Period. Because one thing you can never say, you can never call me ugly. I'm sorry, but if you call me ugly, you automatically lost the argument.
If you call me ugly, then
you're
just
lying
to you.
That's like one thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that like I put a lot into presenting myself a certain way, how I
love
look.
that.
But I genuinely love it. There's like a whole wave of like content creators who make videos about being more feminine. Their explanation is that a lot of Black women weren't taught that because we're always viewed as like masculine or hyper masculine. We're always viewed as aggressive. We're always viewed as like not ladylike, not this, not that. It's like the kind of content that you kind of take with a grain of salt. It is enjoyable. But I think that one thing that's missing when it comes from the conversations about femininity, especially as it pertains to Black women, is I think femininity is also very personal.
Correct.
So for me, I don't check every box as a feminine woman. I could literally be wearing a 15 grand worth of clothes on, but like I didn't shave my armpits for 2 months because I just didn't feel like it. Or I have hairy legs because I just don't feel like it. I don't always shave.
I did.
No, but to my, what I'm saying is that's because that's what you prioritize.
Yep.
That's a priority
Correct.
for you. For me, I don't always feel like I need to be like bare skinned.
I'm going to no.
I just don't feel like it.
No, this is a bigger message. The bigger message is if we tell women to be more feminine, right? And we're telling women that they need to do this to be more feminine, or act this way, or compose, or poise themselves, or whatever. You're actually limiting them because in a lot of our roles, we need to have a little bit of masculine energy. I'm a real estate agent, and for the most part, I'm negotiating deals north of 5, 10, 15 million, and I'm playing with people's livelihoods here. Mm-hmm. So when I come to the table and I'm negotiating for my client, if I come out, hi, my name's Chelsea Lazkani, and my client would like to submit an offer, they're gonna dismiss me.
They're gonna laugh at you.
Right? I know that for the most part, this is a male-dominated industry, and I want to do right by my client. So I'm gonna bring masculine energy, and I'm gonna say that femininity bull. A lot of people in those rooms that people look to be in, I for sure look to be in, didn't get there by being sort of soft and demure and tiptoeing.
I never thought of it that way. But I also think like it's such a great point to prove that like masculinity and feminine energy are just that, they're energies. And yes, they work together. Yep. It's not just what society tells you is feminine and what society tells you is masculine. It's how you define it, and it's very personal. So it's like,
be a lady.
What is a lady?
Be a lady.
What exactly is a lady?
Darling.
Like, what exactly
be
is
a lady? Ultimately, we got to stop putting people in boxes and allow people to ebb and flow and move out of their freaking box, because
we're not static. We're not linear. We're constantly going up and down.
Mhm.
You know?
And moving at the vibrations of the place that we're at. It's a lot of pressure to film with you, I'll be honest.
Why?
Because this is what you do.
but I'm like-
You're fantastic at it. And
I don't judge though.
I know you don't. You're the most gracious host ever. You've welcomed me and you've made me feel so comfortable, but it's still a lot of pressure to get behind a screen that I'm not familiar with. So, yeah,
I know you said you're anti-blush.
well, babe, you know, it's a new day, it's a new day, it's a new dawn.
And I'm feeling good.
Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What's that shade called? I need that.
Oh, I put it a little bit too close. Do you like my makeup?
Yes, it looks pretty. I actually feel like we have the similar vibe, similar color stories.
Okay.
How's the glam?
I'm done.
I think it looks good. The first time we filmed this, guys, she told me her routine was only like 10 minutes, like in and out. And today you're looking like a glam girl. Yeah.
How many times do you set your makeup under your eyes? Just once?
Ooh, like 4 times.
I
I
do it all the
use
time.
Derma Blend, and then I use Charlotte Tilbury, and then I mixed both.
And you do it
colors.
more than once? Like you
I do because I like it to be like boom.
Super set.
But I'm also using light layers.
This I use is actually a combination. It is not Ben Nye. This is Laura Mercier, Huda Beauty, and Givenchy. It's a combination of all of them, and I built my own little concoction. So I'm done.
I'm done. I'm glam. So we're gonna show the final look, and that's it. Thank you so much for being on my channel. I had so much fun. I think my viewers are gonna love getting to know you.
Aww.
I hope you have fun. Did you have fun?
I had the best time, and you taught me a few things about makeup, which is the best.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. And we definitely need to have her back for a third time, right, guys? So technically this is the second time.
So this is the second time we've filmed this video. The first time something happened, but I'll let you guess in the comments.
Really enjoyed having you on my channel, and I really hope that you come back, and we just want to see our good sis win. If you guys want to see more from Chelsea, where should we follow you?
Follow me, Chelsea Lazkani, on Twitter, on Instagram, and every other platform, because I took it.
Good. Period. Thank you again.
Thank you.
It was so good having you.
So be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know what you think about this epic video in the comments.
Jigga 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 jigga